This is the NFL Play Football Podcast, and I'm Jeff Fisher of High School Football America. The NFL celebrates youth and high school football year-round through camps, activities, NFL flag, and tackle leagues. The Play Football Initiative provides a fun and engaging experience for players of all ages and skill levels, equipping young people with key life skills that are building blocks to success on and off the field. Hey everyone, it's Jeff Fisher of High School Football America, and we're continuing our journey across America, honoring the nominees for the Don Shula Award. It's the time to go to Detroit and talk about the Lions. Coach of the Year, Tyrone Spencer from Detroit Martin Luther King High School. Man, what a job this alum of MLK has done. Second straight Division III title this year. Wrapping up his 7th year as coach this season. 81% of his games have been won, a 75-17 mark, 4 state titles, a runner-up in 19, 30-3 in the playoffs. I got all kinds of numbers I could throw at you about this young man, but he's on the line right now to talk about winning the award and really promote the program there in Detroit. Thanks for taking the time, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
And I said you're an alum, and I'm going to jump back to the days when you were there as a student and now as a coach. But, you know, there were a lot of heady numbers I just threw out there with state championships and wins and winning percentages. What goes through your mind when you hear those numbers thrown at you?
Yeah, some of the numbers are, they just shock me, especially the playoff percentage. You don't have time to reflect as a coach because you're moving, you're constantly moving. You go from football to track to this to that, and when you hear those things, it's just like, wow, you really be able to reflect that you guys are doing a great job. So, I mean, it's just a testament to the hard work that we've been putting in.
Well, let's dial the clock back. As I said, an alum there to Martin Luther King, and now you're the man leading the program. Is there any way for you to dial back your brain to 2003 and say, oh, yeah, I saw myself getting all those numbers and leading the football program? And I guess the real question is, when did it click over that maybe you did want to be a coach?
It probably didn't click over until some in college, because in high school I still didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew it would be in some shape or form helping people. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know if it was going to be a counselor or if I wanted to be a psychologist. I know I wanted to help people, and college is where I really found out like I like coaching. I started working with some kids in the after school program doing flag football, and I just fell in love with it. The kids, just the trust that they had in me and the relationships that we built. And these were like 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. And we just had a ball, and I said, okay, this is what I want to do. And I just fell in love with it ever since then.
And you're doing it pretty darn well. Tyrone Spencer on the line, the Detroit Lions. Coach of the Year. He's now a finalist for the Don Shula Award. It is a great award, and I love the fact that all of the NFL teams are digging down into the grassroots, and I'll ask you that question in a second. But I'm going to stick on the past, and then when you moved into the coaching, I guess the big question is the foundation you built when you did take over. Was there any connectivity back to the earlier days? Did you kind of say, look, I'm going to put my thumbprint on it this way? What were some of the things you did early on that you feel have helped you achieve the success that you've achieved?
So I always reflect back to my high school years and the things that we did, and we did some great things and won city championships, but I always felt like there was something missing, and to where it was like, why in the state championships we're losing, or we can't get over the hump. And I just started to think about, I played college ball, and I started thinking, well, okay, well, what did we do in college? Mm-hmm. And some of the things that we weren't doing, we weren't eating before games in high school. So sometimes you had guys just, on empty stomachs or not eating. We're young, where we really weren't educated on, fueling your system before you get out there and play. So it was like, okay, let's make sure we feed these guys before we play. And then also we stopped lifting during the summertime. And I'm like, we can't do that. I gotta get in the building. We have to be able to lift weights. And that was something that really helped us to continue to lift weights during the season, in the summertime, to still give yourself a chance to build some strength and then keep the strength that you built. So I thought that was some of the things that we just had to change. But the things that we didn't change was how we went about our business. And that would always be the same at King High School, which was just, giving great effort, having the right attitude, and being tough mentally and physically. Those are the things that just stayed the same. And we just kept those ingredients and remixed it a little bit with some of the things that we needed to do and we thought would benefit our team. And that formula that has been working.
Yeah, tradition. It can be new and it can be old, and it sounds like you've got the good blend in there. Hey, quick question. We all know football's all about borrowing, right? There's not an original offense or defense anymore. It's just a variation or whatever. Who are the coaches in your life that you've kind of borrowed from as you've gone into the coaching profession?
Yeah, you do borrow. It's a lot of borrowing football. And I would say, the first guy, Coach Dale Harvell, the guy that I took over for in 2016. He passed away in 2016, and he's the first person that basically the defensive concepts, everything was his ideas, and then of course going to clinics and talking to other coaches, I mixed some of my own stuff in there. But Dale Harvell, he was a genius. He was before his time. I know it was another coach in Springfield right now, Springfield, Ohio, who I know he helped when he was at Huber Heights, I believe, helped him win a championship there. But Dale Harvell would be one. And then I would say Paul Winters, who was my coach at Wayne State. Definitely got some things from him as well. And it may not have been schematics, but the way he went about his business and held people accountable, definitely took that from him. And a mix of other people, just learning different systems and different things. Don Brown, really good college coach, Boston native that used to be at the University of Michigan. Learned some really good things from him as well. And my head coach, James Reynolds. He was my coach here, and he was an educator first. And, I like to think of myself as the same way. It's all about educating the kids first, and that's how he was. So definitely got a lot of things from him as well.
Yeah, Tyrone Spencer on the line, the Detroit Lions Coach of the Year at Detroit King High School, just has done some wonderful things there, championships, but also some of the stuff off the field. This is an award that kind of honors coaches, for being well-rounded. It's not just X's and O's and wins and losses and all that. And talk a little bit about your staff, because when it comes to this award, and I do this every year, and it's one of the things I love, yes, your name's on the award, right? We're talking to you because you won the award, but it is a program/team award. So let's first talk about some of the coaches, how you put together the staff. Do you have some guys there that are like you, alums, and what are you looking for when you get an assistant coach?
Yeah, so our situation is very unique. We probably have the most coaches that are probably like alumni, and it speaks volumes of our program, but I want to say I might have, let's say, maybe 8 coaches that actually played at King in some capacity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 of them, including myself, is 9. So
that's a great number.
Coaches, that actually came through the program, graduated, played ball somewhere, and came back. But my right hand is Terrell Patrick. His father was a 30-year offensive line coach at King High School. He got here and started coaching with me. We both been here 12 years, and we've been able to have a great system where he runs the offense, I run the defense, and make sure the team is good. But Terrell is somebody definitely that I've been able to count on. When I can't be there or something's going on, he's my assistant head coach and offensive coordinator, and it's been a great run with him.
And we don't want to get anybody mad at you either, so let's get some more names in here when they listen. I don't want them going, did Jeff not ask you about all of it? So go ahead. Like I said, it's a team award.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you guys do this, because every time you get a Coach of the Year award, you can't do it without your assistants. And a guy who really does the defense with me, Aronde Stanton, he actually went to King as well, played at Youngstown State, was a captain over there, and came back in 2015. And we joke a bit because ever since he came, we won. We went to the state championship all the time. But he helps me with the defensive line and gets the game plan going. So he's like the run game coordinator. But he's a great person, great father, and a great mentor to the kids. Also, I have Walter Reynolds. Walter Reynolds is the Eastern VP of a printing company. I believe it's Rico or something like that. But he does a great job with the defensive backs, really tutoring them outside of football. And we've had some really good success with that, and really love what he's doing. And I would be remiss if I don't talk about Jarrell Nolan and what he's been able to do with the quarterbacks. We've had DeQuan Finn, who's at Toledo, and Dante Moore now, who's committed to Oregon, and Jarrell has done a great job building relationships with those guys, and really elevating their game and giving them the confidence that they need to be successful. And there's just so many more. I think Brandon Walker, who I played with at Grand Rapids Community College before I went to Wayne State. He's our offensive line coach. He's really the brains of the O-line to really get them together schematically. So there's just a lot of guys that we have that just do a phenomenal job, man. I really thank them because, again, you can't do it by yourself. And
nope.
It just takes these coaches, man, that sacrifice. Don't get paid a lot to this. They do a great job, man. I really appreciate them.
Yeah, you never want to divide out the hours into the money.
Right.
He's getting rich, as you said. Tyrone Spencer on the line, Detroit King High School, the Lions Coach of the Year, as we travel across the country and spotlight all of this year's honorees for the Don Shula Award. Like you said, you need those assistant coaches, but you need some kids to execute. And we're not going to be able to get every one of the kids' names in right now, but the question is this: who are some of the leadership guys on this team that led you to another Division III title in the state of Michigan?
Yeah, the first name is definitely Dante Moore, our senior quarterback. He definitely was the guy who we had to lean on to get this championship, and he did it anyway. I mean, it's been games where he had to use his legs, it was games he had to use his arm, and we were able to be successful and have a really great playoff run and played our best game in the state championship. So, if it wasn't for Dante and his leadership, he really tutored the young, inexperienced receivers and got them going, and it paid off late in the season for us.
And let's kind of talk about your outlook on things there. You're not afraid to schedule some people outside of the state of Michigan, and when I say some people, I'm talking about teams that regularly appear like you in the High School Football America 300 national rankings. You had Moeller out of Cincinnati this year, Warren Central. What's your philosophy on playing some of those bigger games that may not always result in a W, but I'm assuming there's a bigger plan, right? Which is called a state championship.
Absolutely. I love scheduling those games. One, I like to get my players in an atmosphere that's uncomfortable, especially when they're young or inexperienced, because I know later on it's going to help them. So playing a Warren Central or Carmel in Indiana, those are going to be tough teams, players that can play over there that really will help us and benefit us in the long run. And so I kind of got that because in 2014 we played some teams that they were good in Michigan, but we kind of really didn't know who we were. And then when we got in the playoffs, we got exited out like in the first round. And since then, I said, you know what, Coach, let's just play some tougher opponents and just let's know what we are early. If we aren't that good, let's know early. Or if we need things to work on, let's do it early. And everybody knows that that winning comes from actual failure too. You know, you learn from mistakes and you take those lumps and you learn from it. So I never have a problem playing anybody early on. If we lose, we're going to learn from those mistakes. And, you know, it's a good thing, you know, because like I've learned also, sometimes winning can breed like a softness because you get so comfortable. And like when you lose, you know, you feel that pain of losing and you don't want to really feel it again. So sometimes it's a good thing. And so we just use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
So I love scheduling hard opponents.
Yeah, I love seeing your schedule every year. You're not going to duck anybody. I'm going to have you kind of switch the King hat out here and put on a little Detroit Public School hat and talk about Detroit Public Schools. I mean, you and Cass Tech, arch rivals, but you've also kind of carried the banner for Detroit, right? You both squads have appeared in our national rankings, other national rankings like Max Preps and USA Today and all that. I just wanted you to kind of be a little ambassador here and talk about the quality of football in the public school system and some of the challenges too, because it's not easy. I know guys in Chicago and Philly, and I hear the stories, I hear the war stories, but let's put the positive spin on some of the things that you and Cass and the rest of the league are doing there and the athletes.
Yeah, most definitely. Just, you know, like Cass, they're our rivals, and it's always fun to play them. But like you said, we do get together to make sure that the league is better. In whatever way we have to. But the teams in our league, you know, really have respect for each other. You know, we stick together. I think Detroit Central, they were in the playoffs. They had a chance to win the state championship in Division 7. I think Southeastern. So there's some talent and good teams in our league, and we just want to continue to grow. You know, there's a lot of young coaches in there. Coaches that were inexperienced as well, and those guys are coming along and getting their teams ready. But it does come with some challenges. I know for us this year, we were practicing on like a middle school field because our field was getting redone. So we had to take a bus every day to a middle school field with all types of lumps and. You know, so that was just something. That was adversity that we faced, but I knew that adversity was going to make us tougher and make us better, and it did. And that's around the league. A lot of people are going through that. You know, we don't have the best of facilities, but we're going to make the most of what we have. We're not going to complain about it or cry about it, but we're going to do the best with what we have. And so we just made that commitment to do that. And you know, I think that's what when you think about Detroit Public Schools, you know, you just think of gritty football teams that's going to try their best to win football games, and we're going to do it the right way too. We're going to do it with class, man, and great etiquette. So I don't want that to get confused either. We try to run a really tight ship.
No, I have no doubt. Like I said, all of the coaches around the country, and I've lived in Philly, I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in Los Angeles, and I really kind of gravitate towards some of the inner city programs because you guys are sometimes doing it with smoke and mirrors, but you're also doing it the right way, which is the real key. Tyrone Spencer on the line because he's doing it the right way. This year, the Detroit Lions have named him their Coach of the Year. We're going to kind of wrap up with that a little bit, Coach. Not what does it mean to you, but I mean, when you hear your name, I was talking to a gentleman who won the Titans Award the other day, and he said, man, I never thought I'd hear my name with Don Shula, which right. I thought was a pretty fun line. So I'm going to ask you that question. What's it mean for you to have your name and Don Shula in the same sentence?
I mean, I feel the same way. Like, I never thought, even when I won the Detroit Lions Coach of the Year, I didn't think that I would win the Coach of the Year. Last year, I won the Coach of the Week, and to hear it even now, it's surreal. It's something that, you know, once I sit down and really think about it, like, wow, I'm really like up for this, you know, for this award. So it's something that it doesn't hit you yet. But I'm so appreciative, and just thank God for using me, man. Because this what we do is just service, and I've been putting the work in, and you don't ask for this stuff, but when you do it the right way, things come to you. So I'm just really appreciative, and again, I just really thank God for putting me in this position and giving us this opportunity.
Yeah, no, very well said. And I said this at the beginning, all of the NFL teams are reaching down into the grassroots, whether it's youth football or high school football. And I know the Lions do so much in the state of Michigan. What does it mean to you personally and to the coaches there in the state that the Lions are kind of putting that hand down there and letting you know that there's someone above you that can help you out and honor you and do things to make the game better?
Oh, man, it's great. It's great. Like, they do so much. They do from the camps to providing fields for the kids and giving them an outlet and putting into some of the rec centers. I mean, it's great because it's what's needed. And, for them to be able to do that annually, year in and year out, and think of new things that they could do. It's just great for the students, for the kids that we serve. And I really appreciate them. And just to be recognized and honored with what they're doing and the movement that they're doing it in, it's just, it's great. And, this is what we're about: education, changing, and make sure that, the people that we serve are the best version of themselves.
Yeah, very, very well said. Congratulations on the award, but, thank you for what you do for the student athletes out there. You're giving of your time, you're making a difference, and we appreciate you for doing what you do with those student athletes there at Detroit King and helping out. So thank you, congratulations, have a great holiday, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's the NFL Play Football Podcast. Coaches, don't forget to check out playfootball.nfl.com for some great resources to help you improve in the coaching profession. I'm Jeff Fisher of High School Football America, and you've been listening to the NFL Play Football Podcast.